Hello, everybody, and welcome to Misscliks D&D Devotion. How are you guys doing today?
Anxious, nervous, all the things. My character has so many feelings.
Yeah.
There were a lot of feelings.
Yeah, this is gonna be a fun one.
I refuse to let Near destroy the party and our love. So I will prepare for the worst with my spells.
Okay. Normally, we do a recap. I feel like that would not actually be in our best interest today. So if you haven't seen last week's episode, stop what you're doing and go watch that, and then you'll catch this one in VOD. And that's all I have to say. So, we're going to pick up the next day. You guys have had a lovely party. You've all had a lovely sleep. And it's the next morning. There are 2 bedrooms of interest here. So we're going to start with Kellen, Olivia, and Guy. What happens in the morning?
I think we wake up all on the ground covered in like paint and a completely painted room with different kinds of like art styles and stuff like that.
It's beautiful, actually. It's the most
I think
beautiful
it's-
mural you've ever seen.
I think it should be beautiful, to be honest. I think it should be very colorful, evocative, and I think it's a nice thing to wake up to, like so unusual that our character probably feel like they're wondering where they are. Like I wouldn't think I'm in a hotel room.
Is it like a forest scene? It's like a fantasy, beautiful forest scene with like fairies and stuff.
I feel it should be a bit trippy though. So let me
Oh, yeah.
maybe like it starts as a forest, but then it kind of just grows into like a mix of like a sunset and I don't know what would happen if you would imagine taking drugs or something.
Okay.
Like a colorful mashup of like rainbows. And movement.
Awesome. I think I
Are we
look
all
up.
holding hands or something?
Guy is kind of curled up in a little ball off to the side. I think the 2 of you are probably super cuddling.
I wake up. I'm like, ah, and I look around. I'm like, art. That feels good. Right, Guy? Right, babe? I kiss Olivia on the cheek and I get up and like go about my morning.
Guy's a late sleeper. He kind of grunts in response and rolls over. May have been awake, may not. We'll find out later. Let's flip over to the other room. Cass and Ransom.
I guess I'm just waking up and everything's a little hazy. I'm still thinking about what happened the night prior. And I look over to Ransom and see him there, but realize when I got to the room, he wasn't in there. So, are you awake at this point?
Zzz. Zzz. Snore.
I look over, I'm like about to say something, and then I stop myself, and then I'm just kind of like, I check to see that I have the ring, so I put it back around my neck, and I kind of just go over to the window, and I sit at the window, and I just look out.
There's a gentle rain coming down.
I sit there and think. I think about going over to talk to my brother about what I'm supposed to say to Ransom. I have no idea where he was the night before. And I'm just thinking about everything that Levin said. Thinking about, am I able to move on? Is this where things should be? And that's what I'm doing right now.
What about you, Olivia? What's your morning like?
That's a good question. I think she's feeling pretty. If you exclude the whole Alex Gilder encounter thing, I think she's feeling pretty zen if she just thinks about where she's at, what happened. I think she's good with it. Like she wanted this and it was good. I think she's trying not to think about Alex Gilder, and it just makes her day good like that. She just doesn't want to think about that.
Okay. Ransom, eventually you come around. How long do you sleep in past when Kess wakes up?
Probably without being woken up at all.
Mhm.
1 hour.
Okay. Kess, are you going to wake up Ransom, or are you just going to be letting him sleep?
I eventually go over and I wake him up. I just kind of sit down on the bed and then I like tap him gently.
You wake up, Ransom.
Ah,
Hey,
morning, Cass.
good morning. What happened to you last night?
Well, I was gonna tell you, but you were asleep. So, that looks like a good time. But before I do, I wanted us to kind of bring ourselves way back to the beginning. Do you remember when we first met, Cass?
Yes, it was back in your village, I think, right?
Yeah. You were coming by, doing another one of your performances, and
And I
I've
got
been
attacked.
right, I've been a big Kess and Kellen fan for years. Probably one of your biggest fans. And this must have been I lost track of how many times you've stopped by, but our village just happened to be in the middle of your performance travels. So, yeah, that night you were out walk-ins and these thugs from the village, they came up to you and they were doing some serious harassment at you.
Yeah, they were.
It was kind of dark, but fortunately, you always had my eye, So I spotted this, and I was the blacksmith at the time. Didn't have weapons on me. You were just crossing this bridge, and I shouted over while I dropped some objects, "Hey, you get off her." Do you remember what happened next?
Well, we started dating, but I don't remember exactly what happened before that.
Yeah, it was a pretty tough moment. So I got their attention. They came at me. But, fortunately on that day, and maybe it was fate, I had been making caltrops, so they came over at me and then they stepped on him. With a big yell, they were distracted. I pushed them off the bridge. And I think that's when I got a notice of you. I know that you've always been after people who weren't just brawny and didn't just fight straight up. They fought using tactics and whatnot.
Of course, that's something I've always liked about you.
Yeah, and I was happy that I could protect you, even though I wasn't as talented as yourself or Kellen. I swore from that day on that I would be your bodyguard, and that's how we started traveling together.
Yeah,
And hasn't it been quite a journey?
it has been quite a journey. We've gone through so many things, and I once fell in love and lost that person and never thought I would find love again, and then I found you. And well, I know it hasn't been easy, and we've gone through a lot of things, but I don't know, I feel like hopefully we're on the right track.
I'm afraid not. This is the day our journey ends. Yes, it's been nice journeying with you as your bodyguard, and as your friend, as your lover for some period of time. But I'm afraid that this is the end for us.
And what brought that upon all of a sudden?
Well, yesterday night, we were at a masquerade, and it was just really hard to get your attention for some reason. You've remained the same amount of distant that has been going on for...
Did you think to ask me about it today or talk about it?
It's been really hard to talk to you, honestly, Cass.
Well, of course it is when you're distracted by someone else.
I was never distracted by someone else, but yesterday night, that someone did distract me, and I realized that they're probably a better fit.
So just like that, our whole journey is just cut off, just for one night of you apparently having intention of another girl.
It's much more than just one night. It's been, I'm sure, I'm not the best at taking social cues, but when you turned me down for even a simple dance yesterday night, I knew that we had basically been over for a while. You wouldn't even introduce me to whoever you were talking to.
You came up and asked me to join you guys at some fun house. You didn't even... I told you I would explain later, and instead you go and... Let me guess. I guess things happened last night with that said girl, didn't they?
Yeah, I realized that the whole time where I'd been wanting to talk to you, from the boat trip over...
Oh, you mean the boat trip where you ignored me and hung out with that girl the entire time when I needed you? Yeah, that time. Okay.
Right. The time where I selflessly sacrificed my desire to be with you in order to give you space.
Yeah, because that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted space. No, I wanted my boyfriend to be there for me. But no, instead, you were helping some girl train. A girl who apparently, let me guess. Okay, you said something happened, so you cheated on me with this girl. What kind of honor is that? What real honor is that? You know why I didn't explain last night is because I didn't know exactly what was going on or what was happening, and I wanted to handle it and explain to you later. But instead of understanding that, like I've been understanding of you spending every extra moment with this girl, you run off and cheat on me. How many years have we been traveling together? I hope it was worth it. That was 11th last night, just for your knowledge. And I don't know how he was there, what was going on, but I needed to get to the bottom of it. I needed you to trust me, but you didn't trust me. You just ran off to another girl.
You know, I would have helped. You just asked.
And then you sit here and you're just like, our journey's over. Without even a thought. That's you now. That's how you do it.
Well,
I finally thought I was able to put everything of the past behind and move forward, even through all the things that have happened between us and things, and build on that. And when things get tough, you work things out. But instead, you want...
Can I hear
don't
this
even know what
happening?
to say.
Absolutely.
I
don't even know what to
I hear
say
Kes
anymore.
screaming, and I like barge into the room because I have never heard her be that upset. And like, what's going on here?
He cheated on me, Kellen.
Kellen runs at Ransom and just tackles him.
oof.
I think you
Yeah.
you tackle him to the ground.
I like have my fists like cocked, and I'm like, is this true? Did you cheat on my sister?
Well, it wasn't me doing it, and, you know, she kissed me out of the blue, but I suppose so, yes.
I look at Kes for like, is it like, should I punch him basically? I punch him in the face. Do I need to roll for attack?
Yeah, go ahead and give me a roll to hit. I don't know how much Ransom is defending at this point in time.
Now, if she wants to hit me, I'm not making it hard.
All right. Well, Kellen smashes you with a 19, whether or not you resist.
I want a virgin also at this point. Like, guys, why are you guys fighting? Kellen, why are you punching
I'm like
Ransom?
holding him. I'm like, he cheated on my sister. This scum deserves to die.
Why would you
I
do
think
that?
death is a little bit extreme there.
I hit him
Do you
again.
not have feelings for her anymore?
Give me a damage roll on that first one, actually. Fists are D2. If you have any strength mod, that can be added to. All right. You smack him for 1. And the second
And then I
attack.
hit him again. I missed because I'm like looking at Olivia and I'm like, yeah, it's jerk. And I just kind of like.
And I'm probably all covered up in paint too. Like both of us are
guys
completely covered in paint.
Covered in paint.
And like cat drawings and like flowers and like a bunch of like, hippie stuff. So I'm like, why would you do such a thing? Were you really drunk? That's not even an excuse. There is a deeper problem in this relationship. You guys should
because
really talk.
Oh, because I didn't dance with him last night.
No,
I
that's
hoist him up by the collar and I'm like, get out. And I like start trying to drag him out of the room.
No, babe. We need to sit down like adults and talk this out.
I think the time for talk has passed. This guy's toxic and look how unhappy he's making my sister. And he's made me really unhappy by making my sister unhappy for a freaking long time. He doesn't deserve her.
You know what? That sounds about right.
Yeah, it does.
I head towards the door.
No, I won't let him head towards the door. I want to throw him out. So I'm like, yeah! I'm like dragging him by the collar. I want to drag him all the way to like the front door. Like I want to
He
throw him
just
out of the
wants an
building.
easy out so he can go to his new girlfriend.
So as you start dragging him out, Guy is coming out of the other room, having been woken up by all of this noise, and Rhonda is coming out of the other room, which is on the other side of this, with a rubbing her head, saying, "What's with all the yelling, guys?"
When I hear,
I look at her with the biggest dagger eyes ever.
and I heard her say his new girlfriend, and I see this happen, and I go, Rhonda.
She freezes in place, eyes wide.
Can't keep your hands to yourself, can you?
Well, maybe if you had treated him right.
Yeah, we bring you in your.
I grab
our
her
party.
collar too, and I'm just like dragging them both away.
She will resist that, along with it. Unhand me, peasant.
Ooh.
I don't
Uh,
take kindly to that. Does she gets
She
away from
will.
me?
Yeah. We can roll for it if you want to really push the matter, but she will defend herself or resist.
I say, I'll be back for you. And I continue trying to drag Ransom out the front door.
She turns to Kess and kind of narrows her eyes at you. This is your fault, you know.
Say one more thing, I swear I will kill you.
Maybe if you treated him as a person rather than as a dog, you wouldn't have be alone right now. And she heads back into her room, only momentarily to grab her gear bag and like grab bits of her armor underneath her arms, and still in her night clothes, heads for the front door where Kellen is dragging Ransom. Leaving Kess, Olivia, and Guy all standing in the bedroom hallway combo. Guy quietly and politely excuses himself and heads back to the room that he sort of semi-shares with Rhonda, leaving Olivia, Kess.
Do I successfully throw him out the front door?
I think you do. The guards watch as this is happening, and then one of them says in kind of awkward common, he no longer welcome.
No, he cheated on my sister and he's a scumbag. So if he tries to come back in, show him the pointy end.
So your sister is single, yes?
I mean, I guess. Yeah, but like probably give it a minute. Like just kind of like.
She's a very good singer. I give him few days. If
Yeah, thanks. We're glad you're a fan. Like, thanks. Keep on listening. Like, really appreciate that, man.
He looks eagerly at Ransom, who's been kicked out of the governor's house.
Oh, her too. That one too. No good.
Yeah. They shrug. Ransom, you and Rhonda are outside in the courtyard. Rhonda's putting on her armor and getting fully dressed here.
I'm gonna go join them.
Well, Rhonda,
I'm not there yet. You guys, I guess, are alone for a while.
you know, yesterday night, I had a great revelation that you were way better for me than Cass ever was.
She just slightly nods her head a little bit and says, I think you and I have a connection that has real meaning in it.
The bardic life, traveling from town to town, doing performances, that was never really for me anyways. Where do you think we should go next, Rhonda?
Well, it's been a while since we've been home. Why don't we head back to Ridgelight, and we'll see if we can't figure out what to do from there. I'll charter us a ship. Do you need to get your weapons and armor?
Oh, yes, that. Yeah, one moment. I'll be right back.
That armor is not going anywhere.
Go up to the guards over there. Right, my stuff. Get that.
We send servant. Get your stuff. No worry.
No.
Thanks, I'll be right out here.
I was gonna go meet with Ransom and Rhonda by the way.
Sure, you meet up with them right about now then.
Ransom, can we have a word, just you and I? For a minute?
Sure, what do you want?
I won't
Olivia?
attack you, obviously. Like, anyway, I'm not
Yeah,
that
I
strong.
brush off the punch I had. Barely a scratch anyways.
So we like get away from Rhonda and I'm like, is this really what you want? You want to leave the life of adventure and leave all, like, this is not just a breakup with your girlfriend, it's a breakup with all of us. I thought we were family and I thought you loved her. This is so sudden. I know you guys have had a rough patch, but it seems so out of place to just leave everything like that and not even fight for your relationship.
Oh, I fought for it for the last month, 2 months. It didn't seem like it was going anywhere. And then yesterday night, when I saw how she was looking at her dance partner, without giving me a second look, I knew it was over.
Well, she doesn't seem to be reacting as if it was over on her side. I still think she cares about you. I really think you guys have communication issues, you know? That's really the source of it. Like, what you're telling me is that you and her haven't been connecting and you feel like it hasn't been working out. But you're not telling me you're loving Rhonda or anything. You're just saying it's like more convenient for you to be with her. But that's not true love. That's just trading a relationship that is in trouble for something comfortable yet not rewarding.
That's perfect. You're supposed to get rid of those things that are in trouble, that are dangerous.
So why have you been traveling with us this whole time, facing danger, traveling the world,
Oh, that part's
challenging
fine.
yourself to grow as a person? You know how
Sure.
far we've come as a group?
Well, you know, we usually end up killing those people that we have problems with. But I don't think it would be appropriate here.
Well, obviously not, but you can't kill everybody that you have a problem with or run away from every single problem in your life. You need to deal with them and talk through them and evolve as a person.
It's worked for me. And you know what? I'm sure that prophecy was completely wrong also.
Rhonda comes over and
What are you
interrupts
saying about the prophecy?
your conversation. Are you going to come with us, Olivia?
No. I think that he's a coward that doesn't want to face any conflict. And when you two get into a conflict, you're going to see what's going to happen. He's just going to cower out just like he's doing right now because he doesn't want to learn to deal with conflict and issues.
I
So
understand
tell
that this
people
is
run away.
maybe difficult for you, but I think our kind might need to stick together. So, I'll offer you one more time. If you'd like to come back, I'm sure I can find a position worthy of your talents and abilities.
I really don't want that.
If you change your mind, I regard you as a friend. Come on, Ransom. Let's go.
Bye, Rhonda.
Yeah,
Bye,
I'll
dog.
just be here for a moment for the servant to get our stuff.
Right,
There's-
right.
Oh, well, except that armor that I gave you as a friend, but since you're just bailing out on us, I guess I'll just keep it for myself.
I
bad.
will be happy to replace his armor.
Well, obviously, with all the money from your family, it's gonna be an easy thing to fix. You're gonna be able to replace everything in this life, aren't you? Just finding another group of travelers and bars to just fill his heart with wonder and amazement.
Are you trying to make me feel bad for having for coming from a wealthy family with connections and power?
That's
And
not what I'm trying to
resources?
say. I am trying to say that you're just trying to replace everything with financial means and not
I
trying to go to
mean-
the root of it. That armor was a representation of our friendship and the protection that I wanted to bestow upon him.
Neil, as all this is going on, I made a quick stop with some guards that I had recently kind of like made a connection with.
Uh-huh.
Made a little tradesy, and I go back up to V, and I have a little something in my hands. I'm like, how are you feeling?
I feel like total crap. I don't even know what to do.
Look, he's trash, doesn't deserve you, he never has, and we have hundreds of years together to find someone better. And I just like, I know I've given you a hard time about it, but I got you these mushrooms, and if you want, I'll do them with you.
Callan, why are you trying to make me always out to be a drug addict?
I just, look, you can drop the facade, okay? Like,
I don't understand how this happens. How? Like, we help that girl and this is what happens? This is what humans do? They just...
well, not Olivia, but like a lot of them, yes. I like, okay, I'm gonna be honest, I'm having a hard time with it because I like never really got what you saw in him. Like, he was kind of rude and like very not creative. But I understand that you really loved him and cared about him. So I'm sorry, and here's some mushrooms, but also don't worry, there's so much better out there than him.
But he was my protector and I loved him.
Look, I can be your protector, not in like a weird, like, you know, romance kind of way, but like I can protect you and you don't need a man to protect you anyway. You're like way stronger than he was.
I know, but I really thought I saw good in him. And I need to tell you something. 11th was on the boat last night.
What? No, you...
No.
Did you take mushrooms last night too? Because
No, that's
11th
when
is dead.
That's when Ransom came up to me and he was with Rhonda. I should have known then. And he asked me to come with them, but I was dealing with it. No, 11th was on the boat. It was a ghost ship and it left at the end of the night, but it was real. Even as, I mean, I guess you can't ask him now, but his face was distorted. He's stuck in like the in-between. And he told me to tell you hello, by the way, but he was able to spend one night here. So we talked and, you know, I got to get a little bit out of what I was feeling because, you know, things were left kind of unsaid with him. And
Look, like, I can totally get why in a stressful situation you would feel like you saw 11th,
No,
but there's
I'm-
no way that Ghost 11th comes back to Earth and doesn't say yo to me, his
He
bro for
couldn't.
life.
It was either he spent the night with me or he spent the night with you.
He chose you over me?
The love of his life. He knew I would say hello to you for him, and you were with Olivia anyways last night.
Yeah, okay, well, that's cool.
I know you're hurt.
He
I know
pops
you're
a mushroom.
You just start taking mushrooms.
Yeah.
All right, have fun in an hour.
Kellen's just kind of like sullen now and like all pissed
I don't
off,
want
but
you
he-
to be sad. It just.
I'm fine. You're dealing with a breakup right now. It's fine. My stuff's cool. It's whatever.
I wanted him to fight for this. I thought I was making the right decision last night to deal with that and to get that away. And then I was thinking this morning and thinking and realizing that, I can't hold on to that forever. And realizing what I had with Ransom was worth fighting for, at least I thought. And it turns out he was with another girl.
Kellen's like trying to be supportive, but obviously they're just kind of like pissed off.
So a servant comes by and says, excuse me, no longer welcome man needs possessions.
Nope.
Where's stuff?
No, he doesn't have any stuff. He's lying.
No, he says he has bag with stuff and weapons.
No, he's a thief and a liar and a cheat. Yeah, sorry that you wasted your time.
They shrug.
I grab his bag, but I have his stuff in my bag, but I grab his bag that's empty and I go ahead and walk it out.
All right, outside is Olivia, Rhonda, Ransom, and a couple of guards. And now V. Now Kess.
I walk up and I'm holding the bag.
Thanks for bringing it down for me, Cass.
Is this what you really, really want?
It's not what I wanted, but it's how it ended up.
Then why is this how it's ending up if it's not what you wanted? Why didn't you trust me?
Sure, I could trust you all I wanted. I trusted that we would make an effort. But
And what effort have you truly, truly made?
You guys really should have taken some couples counseling from me. Like, I have some pretty crazy spell that would help you share emotions and stuff. I'm pretty sure it would have unlocked your potential capabilities, like Kellen and I have to connect so deeply. Even Guy is like getting into it now, see? It's like, it's trending. It's trending.
wow, that's a shame that we didn't look into that a few months ago. That probably would have
Couples
helped.
counseling. Still
How
available.
does a couple months you're willing to throw away years together over a couple months of hardship?
Still
That's the type of
available for
hardship.
free.
Like, I'm a young guy. Admittedly, I don't have nearly as much experience with relationships as you do, but I could see that it was going to be a losing battle.
You didn't even try. You're just ready to give up.
Kellen leans out the window and yells, "Get out already! Jerk! Leave! Stop talking to my sister!"
Rhonda comes over and takes one of Ransom's free hands and kind of gives it a bit of a tug.
Yeah, I
Sure.
have a question about the spell.
Yeah?
If I cast Modify Memory on Ransom, but my goal is just to making re-experience the moment where he fell in love with V's character, would that work? Because there's 4 options, and one of them is allow the subject to recall with perfect clarity an event he actually experienced.
Oh, yeah. It still takes a full round to cast the spell, and then the subject needs to make a saving throw versus spell. And then the caster proceeds with the spell by spending up to 5 minutes visualizing the memory to modify the subject. So you'd have to get him to stand still for like a minute while you cast it, and then have nobody interfere for 5 minutes while you're modifying his memories.
Well, I didn't say I want to modify it. I just wanted him to relive it.
You'd still have to cast it for a minute and then have him hang out, or have no one interfere while you relive the memories for 5 minutes. Rhonda's here, and she's armored up, and she's weaponed up. Like, she's ready to go. And...
Well, Ransom, it really is your choice if you want to just move on and not see this through. But if you just want to stay 15 minutes, I really think I could freshen up your mind and make you see things clearly.
I doubt 15 minutes would possibly change my mind.
You'd be surprised. If you're 100% sure of your decision, it's up to you. You can just leave. Leave all of us.
I guess I owe you at least 15 minutes since I've traveled.
Oh yeah!
So long.
Olivia like grabs him and goes into a room.
Rhonda gives a big sigh. You can't. The guards have barred him from entering the building.
It's okay. We'll just go off to the side or something.
You can do it here.
I look over at Rhonda.
She looks at you coldly.
You have no right to say what you said earlier. You have no idea what I've been through, what me and him have been through. It wasn't your place. You simply came in and took the attention you wanted and think that you're somehow a better person because of it.
Oh, Kess, ever the victim, always in trouble, never wanting to pay any attention or put any work into the things around you. Always happy to let Ransom solve your problems, or your brother solve your problems, or me solve your problems. Oh,
Who
little
made
me.
you that way? Who honestly made you and made you think that you could do something like that to someone? That doesn't make you any good at all. You're an absolutely horrible person for that.
And also,
Doesn't matter who I am, what you did, you can't change that. So you live with that, and I hope you're happy with that.
Maybe this is a little different, but you can get over a little heartbreak, you know, especially when you were, looks around, Ransom's not around, a terrible girlfriend. You were awful the entire time. It was always me, 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 me. I watched. He deserves better than you.
You are a very spoiled bitch.
She sits there with a smug, satisfied smile on her face.
Colin leans out the window and is like, "Who turned Rhonda into an elephant? She's pink!"
The drugs are starting to kick in for Kellen. Which is about right, because apparently the onset time is actually 15 minutes to an hour, so there you go. Back in the other room, though, or back off in the garden on the side, Olivia is casting Modify Memory on Ransom, and you're going to have him relive the moment he fell in love with Kellen, or with Kess.
Yep.
All right, Ransom. I mean,
you're gonna live it in like exact detail. Like you should feel the feelings you felt. You should see like the things you saw, the smells you saw. Like everything should be exactly like the same.
There's that scene that you were talking about earlier today with Kellen.
Sure. Actually, even earlier than that.
Yeah, and
it's even earlier, since that was one of her later performances.
Ooh. What's the first performance where you met her?
Let's see.
When you fell in love, that's not the same as first time you saw her.
Okay.
I want
then
the
falling in
feels.
love would probably be about that time.
Okay. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about the time you fell in love with her?
Well, conveniently, it's actually exactly as I described in the first part. I've been watching her performances for the last many years. I'm only 18 now, so keep in mind that. And
Oh, you were like a little 14-year-old fanboy.
exactly. I've been watching all of the Cass and Callan performances each time they came to the village, and sometimes I tried to come up with excuses to go to the other neighboring villages when they wandered off. Didn't go too far since I was a smith in this village. Anyways, that night that I volunteered to be the bodyguard, of course, I hadn't really gotten any real training in. I was just a blacksmith, but I was ready to fight for her. I was ready to die for her because I wanted to make sure her music continued to live on and spread the kind of joy that it had in me. And on that day, I thought that when she agreed that I could travel around as Cass and Kellen's bodyguard, I thought that I had found my partner for life. I was ready to see it through to the end. And that's what I feel. That's what I relive.
Well, you relive those 5 minutes. Go ahead, Jen.
And then I cast another one, because I have 2 of them, where I actually make him see the memory of when we saw him being haunted by the ghost, and when V was trying to like not attack him but saving, and was telling all of her emotions and stuff about him. 5 minutes of that.
All right.
The tears in her eyes, the struggle, the love.
Why don't you remind me, since I was unconscious at that time?
Yeah, Kess, why don't you tell us what happened during that moment?
I think that would be the strongest moment that Olivia remembers.
I remember just trying to talk to him about it and trying to talk him away, not wanting to hurt him because I didn't want to kill him, and just trying to attack the demon that was in him, and telling him how much we loved him. And I remember going up to him crying and knowing he was okay and just happy that we found him. And yeah.
That's it. That's all I got.
So
I
Ransom,
decided not to fuck up his memory and just remove the Rhonda kiss, which would have been enough.
The other thing was that, nobody wanted to quite go through, and we had to go through like these really, really deep waters, and I was very determined to find him before we left.
Ransom, you eventually come out of the trance where you've relived these memories as if they were brand new, as if you had just experienced them. They're as fresh in your mind as the day they happened.
Gee, I never quite saw it from that perspective. I was out at the time, but that is very touching. I'm glad that you showed me those memories. It makes it tougher, but for some reason, after that, when I thought our relationship was getting back on track, she never followed through.
I really think it's just a communication issue. Like, I've always seen both of you struggle separately and somehow not struggle together, and I find it very heartbreaking that you would just give up on this. I really think I can help you out with communication. Sharing memories and sharing emotions is something we could have worked on all together, but you guys seem to want to just both of you deal with things on your own instead of with each other. And if you don't try to fix relationships, it's gonna happen again, Ransom.
Why don't you see it from my side? Can you see what Can you see the memories that I have?
Actually, I do have 2 memory reads available. Bam! Let's do it.
All right, so Ransom, why don't you walk her through your side of everything?
Fine.
Oh, God.
I'll relive it from the part where it started going south then. We had made it to the Elvish village, and Kess found out that her dad died. I think that's probably where it all began.
Mm-hmm. That's where it began.
It's at that moment that I have this strong flashback to when I was a kid, and I was going. I tried really hard to comfort a friend who had his father die from a disease, and it's where we lost our friendship because he just wanted a moment to be with himself. And I would always act concerned over him, but he just wanted nothing to do with me. So I decided to learn from that, and during the boat trip, 2-week boat trip, I gave Cass all the room she wanted. It was at great cost to myself, since I wanted to be with her, of course. But I figured if she ever wanted to talk, she would just come over to me. Unfortunately, she just stayed kind of locked up by herself for the whole time. And when we came out, and like the first time she talked to me, I was like, oh, thank goodness, finally. But it ended up being that it seemed like she just yelled at me at that moment of like, I just wanted to be with someone. And I was like, yeah, if you ever wanted to be with me, just come out and talk to me. Let's see, I relived the moment of how when we arrived in that new place, where every single time where I tried to get closer, taking my dad's advice that you should just ask her to cook for you or whatnot. I thought exactly. I thought that'd be a really good way of showing her that she would, that I enjoyed the stuff that she made. Sounded good to me. But the way that she scorned me and afterwards I was actually dragged out into prison, that stung a bit. Let's see. I go back to the memory where we're wandering the desert and let's see, she as Kellen kisses a woman.
That's right.
I kind of look back into that and wonder, gee, she never experienced, she never did that to me for the longest time. And after that, she sent her off to basically die. That was awfully cold. Let's see. And then finally, back to this last night, where after a dance, after I had gotten uncharacteristically dressed up without complaint, and after leading her into the ballroom, trying to make a change and be all proper, trying to live up to the prophecy of perhaps I needed to get better at the way that I was expressing my feelings and whatnot. I, of course, let her go to the suitor that came up to dance, because that's how things are. But you figure that after an hour, she did at least introduce me to the guy. But no, I went up to her and asked her about that. I even came up to Olivia, worried that she was, ensorcelled. But it ended up not being the case. So I left her off to her own devices. Those are the memories that I relive.
As I remove my hands from, I guess his shoulders or something, I'm like, well, shit. I didn't know you guys had it so tough. If I knew, I would have tried to help earlier. It's really too bad you guys didn't share those things. Really makes me want to, go back, modify a couple memories, and then make it all right. I guess that would be wrong of me. I'm kind of greedy, but it's really tempting.
I mean...
Well, if you guys wanted me to, though, I could totally do that.
I think you can see that it's been descending for the last months. It's not really something that a simple, quick fix is in order for.
No. Well, we could start working on it now, instead of you just leaving now. Now that it's out there and that we know there's an issue.
I think we've known. I think I've made it be known for a while now. And I've made my efforts, but it has never returned. And that's why I'm leaving now.
All right. I
guess that's when Olivia tears up and says that she's sorry she wasn't there for you guys.
I think Rhonda and Ransom head off into the city, making their way for the harbor. Kellen, you found your way outside. I don't know. You're outside all of a sudden.
I'm like, look. Whoa.
Yeah.
I just wandered out there.
Kess, what are you doing?
I dropped the backpack, and who's around me? Anybody?
You are by well, there's like a couple of guards nearby. Rhonda and Ransom are leaving
One of them is looking at you eagerly.
without the backpack. Olivia is nearby.
Crying.
Kellen,
Thank you, Olivia. I really appreciate your effort, Olivia.
I was too selfish to realize it was so wrong. I have let true love die. She's kind of making it about her failure at this point instead of them, to be
The
honest.
thing about true love is that if it's meant to be, then somehow it finds its way back. But
Find its way back.
honestly, you know, he said he tried, but I don't see where he tried. I mean,
He did. I'll show you, but tomorrow.
I think I have an idea of the different things. I remember his dad, and I remember us talking after the boat, but he wasn't there for me, and I think that's where things started to break.
No, you haven't lived it from his side.
No, I
I'm
get
like
this.
big crying. There's like, you know, like the, how do you call it? Like thing when you're sick, it's like dripping from my
Snot
nose.
bubble.
Yeah, and I have like snot coming out of my nose, and I'm like getting the puffy red nose and like cheeks and everything. Olivia is a really ugly crier.
Olivia, it's okay.
No. I
I'm
failed
sorry.
both of you.
You didn't.
Our relationship is over. Our family's dead.
If he wanted to work it out, he would have stayed. He doesn't want to stay, and honestly, I don't know how I live on after that. He cheated on me. He slept with another woman. You don't do that to somebody you love.
He doesn't love Rhonda.
I know he doesn't.
He
It's just-
loves you.
It's just a
It's
girl who's
wrong.
infatuated with him, and you know, who knows?
Luna doesn't agree with it. True love shall win.
I think this is the time that I go away for a little while. I think I need some time to think. And I need some time to find myself again.
Fine. All of you just leave me behind.
I'll be back when the time is right, but I need you to do something for me. I
What?
need you to promise to take good care of my brother, because he's a really good guy. And he deserves the best, okay?
I see him walking like in the background going like, hey.
I'm like examining a leaf really closely, like, whoa.
Did you give him some of your drugs?
He brought some over to me. I didn't take them, though. Maybe now you'll understand who the real one is in this family. But just take good care of him for a little while, okay?
Of course. Him and Guy.
Yeah, him and Guy. I give her a hug, and then I go over to my drugged out brother, and I give him a hug, and I whisper in his ear, and I say, I love you.
I love you too, Smiley McGee.
And then I sit back, I stand back and run my hand through his hair, and I nod, and then I take my stuff and I walk off.
Study hard. Do well on your exams.
So we're gonna take a break. Rhonda and Ransom are heading for the ship. Kess is going off to find herself for a little while. Kellen is outside, tripping balls Olivia is ugly crying in her room. Guy is nowhere to be found.
Oh
And-
no, I would have tried to find Guy actually, ideally.
Well, yeah, I mean, you'll find him, but for now, this is where we are when we take our break. We'll be
Okay,
back
okay.
in about 5 minutes with a little bit more Misscliks D&D devotion. Bye-bye.